Yo.
What's up?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to UmmaNola Podcast. What's going on in Korea? How's life?
Life is good. It's a little different because I'm not going out as much and drinking, but it's a different vibe that I'm exuding for sure. But yeah, other than that, it's good. Work is keeping me real busy. Jimin, you're keeping me real busy.
No, you keeping me busy, okay? There's the CEO가 말이야, 아주 a lot of projects. Anyway, so today we're gonna start with a quick recap of Singles Inferno because why not? And we just watched up to episode 8. And then we'll kind of just see where the conversation goes from there.
Let's go. Spoiler alert for people that haven't caught up to this
Just
week.
catch up. Like, pull an all-nighter, do what you need to do, and let's catch up, okay? So Singles Inferno, I posted a quick thing when I finished episode 7.
Yeah.
And then I finished episode 8 yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, my opinion has kind of changed a little bit from 7 to 8.
Okay, let's go. What is the difference?
I'm a very physical touch person. And so when Junso trying to lay next to Xian on that bed, I was like, let's go. You know? And to be fair, John and I
어디
are watching.
가는데?
To be fair, John and I are watching too. I'm like holding his hand, and I'm like, let's go. So like we're both like, let's go. You know, I'm not like 혼자서, you know, that bed scene. You know, 가야지.
어디를 갔는데? 그래서 갔다 왔다고 생각해?
그건 모르지. But I'm just talking about. Hey,
Why
first of
is
all,
your face getting red then? 무슨 let's go 하고 말이지.
it's blush, okay? First of all, I think he
Okay.
had like his hand was like his arm was her pege, right? Sometimes
팔베개.
that is all you need to kind of just get that chemistry going. You know what I mean? That tension. You know? That bow chicka bow bow tension. You know? So that's why I was all like, Shunso, let's go. 왜냐면 he was pretty much like, hey, I know you have feelings for Teo, and I respect Teo, but 알았어, now I know what I need to do. And John and I were like, what do you need to do? Show us. And he did, right? So at the end of episode 7, I was like, episode 8, 잘 나가다가 that preview of episode 9 kind of turned me off a little bit, you know?
Okay, can I jump in?
Yeah.
Let's go back. Okay, first of all, I think, again, I'm not promoting alcohol or whatever, but that 분위기 of really speaking truth a lot of times comes out when you're a little tipsy, you know? And this is why I love the 분위기.
That 40%
the
whiskey.
But not the Johnny Walker. The Johnny
He didn't do the Johnny Walker. He saved
No,
that.
because he was saving. So once again, I love that 분위기, that vibe of just honest truth coming out, and you know him just like really trying to 끄집어내 that. I really saw myself in that role a lot of times because I'm always trying to 끄집어내 that depth, that realness, the authenticity of people, and it usually
Last
only
week
can come out.
you were relating yourself to Teo. Today
I know.
you're 약간
야,
준서.
나는 진짜 좀 완벽한 사람이라 가지고 이제 뭐 좋은 점들은 다 내가 갖춰 있다는
왜 자꾸
생각이.
남자하고만
모르겠어. 그래서 내가 진짜 나도 진짜 할 말은
It's
없지만
because these
어쩔 수
여자s
없어.
are a little bit weak, you know? They're a little bit weak.
It's not weak, but I just never was that type of girl. Honestly.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if there was a different type that came in, then maybe I could, you know. But it
Relate
was
to
all
you.
kind of similar vibe of anyway. Model. 네가 잘 아는 분야인 것 같아, 그지?
몰라 나는 난 common 사람. You and I, we
Anyway.
are equal, my friend.
아, 그래. But I really like that 분위기 잘 잡았어. I really liked his like, you know, clawing at the truth and the authenticity. So that's the things that I really liked about it. The bed scene 나는 솔직히 잘 모를 거야. 왜냐면은 나는 never got there with any guy. 근데 if that draws and connects, I believe it. So like the next scene, so this is where I was like, oh, Junso, I don't understand you quite. Is it the competition heightened to be like, I want her now, like even more than ever? Because why I say that is so confusing because the next episode, the 8, he goes and he makes it super confusing as to Minseol.
But I feel like sometimes that could also be the editing. They kind of make it extra dramatic, like so that we as viewers are confused. But who knows, right? I mean, I think it could be all of the above, right? He's kind of like a 쟁취해야 되는 like competitive guy, right?
But I really thought he was gonna be all in. Like 진짜 멋있는 남자였으면은 그거야. I just confused. Under the table, you kind of know, like, oh, he was
Yeah.
probably just talking to her, give her like closure, maybe. I don't know, but it didn't seem like it, and so maybe
I
that's
bet,
the editing.
I bet you that's the editing. It just feel like confusing of the two conversations were like 앞뒤가 안 맞아, you know? But
What I really liked about Junso and Teo, those are my top two, right?
oh, the bro
Is that
code,
conversation. Yeah, like 나 진짜 그거 보고 와서 참 괜찮은
Couple things.
남자애들이구나.
Yeah, but you know what? John and I were watching that. He's like, I'm not doing no bro code. I was like, yeah, me, I don't do no girl code. If there's a man
Really?
I want to get, 다 비켜.
우리
And
어떻게
he's like,
친구하지?
he's like,
나도
absolutely, absolutely. But I only mean that, I mean, kind of, there's a lot of joking here. We're looking too deeply into this show that's in 10 days and it's a competition. So it is very noble to see that. Like when he was like calling Teo out, not Xian, it was 멋있어. He's like, Teo,
yeah.
right? And you're like, oh, bro code. But I feel like in reality, unless it, like you do not want to take a friend's man or whatever, right? That's like you don't even look there, right? But they are in a very unique competition, so it's a different scenario, you know. But I feel like in the real world, you wouldn't really. Maybe people have come across those things, but I've never come across those things where it's like we're both competing for the same guy or anything like that, you know. And both of us, we were like, screw girl code, bro code.
나는 좀 여기선 좀 달라. I think he did the
I
bro code.
understand the logic, the
But
principle.
it's not even okay. Maybe it's the principle, but he still said, "I'm gonna go after her." You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the difference, right? But the talk, I think, was really good. I mean, that's
Yeah, no, I'm all
나는
for the talk. I just think that I'm giving it kudos, but I'm not giving it like 10 out of 10 kudos. I'm like, yeah, well done. It's good for TV too,
oh
you know?
interesting. 나는 that was like oh
Yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, it just makes me look like I'm like some not loyal 싸가지. It's just I understand it's good stuff, but for some reason I was like, you know what? Whatever.
I think I only bring this up because I was in a situation where that kind of happened, and I
그렇지.
지켜
그렇지,
my
yeah.
friendships with my girlfriends. I think that's
Yeah.
way important, more important. And so for me, it was a very wadan moment because it's a very priority of mine. So
Yeah, yeah,
not to
yeah.
say that that's not yours, but for me, it was like, oh, 아주 좋았어. But anyway, those are my 2 cents.
Who's your favorite?
I still think it would be like a Junso, but one thing I'm gonna
Oh,
say
really?
is
More than Teo?
yeah, more than Teo. Only because Teo just seemed like I wish he was a little bit more on the aggressive side. That's all. He's
I
just
feel
too
like-
weak.
I feel like Teo's gonna win at the end.
Maybe. But yeah, it just kind of, it's just too romantic for me. I don't like it. 너무 like flower,
You're not
and-
trying to get no 꽃반지.
no.
I will say episode 7, I was all like Team Chunsa, and then the end of episode 8, I kind of was a little bit like I had this thought where I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna root for Teo because, but I think ultimately this is a question of marry, F, date. Do you know that game?
I
Like,
think
who would
you
you
did it
marry?
once long time ago. 맞아.
Who would you book and then who would you date, right? And Junso is totally like who would you
Date.
slash Bucka bucka.
Buka buka.
Uh-huh. And then Teo is the one you want to marry. In a way. Like, I mean, within the given option. You probably want to marry the accountant. You know? 동호대교. Yeah, that's his name. But it's probably that. So I think in the beginning, the attraction might be Chunsa.
One thing,
But
okay, so one thing I'll bring up about Junso that I think is really telling, people that are aggressive like that will potentially be aggressive in the future too. Meaning like highly jealous, highly
or like 마음 가는 대로 가면, what if
그렇지.
your mom ca's over there?
다른 여자한테
You
그치.
know? Whereas
그러니까
Teo
되게
is like love is a choice type of guy.
yeah. 한눈 one. But
그렇지.
again, I get it, but 너무 조금 재미없어 in my perspective.
Teo.
And yeah.
Yeah, I know. But also like Teo make a good husband. I mean not Teo, but like that the committed type. Look at who we married. We have married the men who don't change. They're not, you know? Everybody that I talk to, like young girlies, they want that like spontaneous guy. They want that like free soul, you know? So they could go and be free to get. I'm like, girl, you need a guy, keep his word. That's sexy. Right? Show up on time, sexy point. 다 올라가, 계속 올라가, right? Like, I don't need a spontaneous trip. 가끔가다 하면, and I'm grateful that happens, right? But you need man that pays bills. You know? Raise the children right?
Word.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know?
So you would marry 동호대교? Teo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at John, right? He's like more mean guy, but he's like not like 태호도 아니야, because he wouldn't be doing all yo, right? But
Yeah.
it's just, you know, man of his word. I'm not looking for a free soul.
That's
We
the
need that
difference
soul
though.
to
Like,
be trapped.
so none of these guys have these like mean guy-esque-ness except for Junso.
Yeah.
And this is why I think it's really hard to imagine because David has like this kind of mysterious side to him too, like nobody really knows. He's kind of quiet off to himself.
Yeah.
And then, John might be like the mean guy, like you say. But
Yeah.
I just can't do like boring and
Super 착한.
super 착해 and super romantic. Like it's just too much for me. And that's
Yeah.
why I can't do Teo, I can't do Tongo, I can't do any of the other guys. And the only person that's very attractive, even though he might be 날라리, is Junso.
그게 재미는 있을 거니까.
재밌고
How about our friend 태환?
걔는 진짜
First of all, he is not 31. Are you kidding me?
And how is he a DJ? How's he a DJ?
춤도 못 추게 생겼는데 무슨 비트야.
Oh my goodness.
He's too much. Like the way he stares at Jiyeon, like with his full confidence of like, I believe I'm the most gorgeous man. I can't.
Do you think when she said, oh, you should go with somebody else, do you think she's basically saying, I don't want to go with you? Or do you think she really was 배려ing him?
I think she appreciates the attention, and at the end of the show, it doesn't hurt to go with a Jack, but equally, she's okay with him going. So 그렇게 끌리진 않은 것 같은데, I think it's like, who else is there that is giving her the attention? And he's not like a horrible guy, you know? But I just thought that she had the coolest job because, hey, space design.
I know.
근데 all of a sudden when she's working, she looked way more 멋있어 because also the way
맞아.
she dressed was just so much better.
Yeah, I agree. But she is like the most boring one. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it's the editing. Yeah, something about her talking. Again, boring. That's why I think Xian is still like my all-time favorite. I think she's great.
She's very likable.
Yeah. And like she's deep. I think she's deep. I think she speaks truth. She's what we see is what you get kind of person. Yeah. I like her a lot.
Well, let us see how the show goes.
Yeah. Do you think Junso's gonna get really aggressive?
So the next episode, like it kind of scared me a little bit because I think he kind of is like grabbing her shoulder or something. But Or maybe he's like, you know how he has that 말투, like 했냐, 뭐 했냐, and like no girl likes that, you know? And she corrected him, and you want to see change. But if he's just kind of that way, then maybe there's a point that she's like, 짜증나. You know? We shall see. We become such coworkers, such great coworkers. We have nothing to talk about. That's fun. Gee, I thought you did a great job at the Honey Jam podcast. Good job. Way to
Oh,
represent.
I did my best. UmmaNola, 화이팅. Make it skin, 화이팅.
Yeah.
No, I was really honored to do the podcast with them and for them to just love on what we do and who we are, right? And the fact that Janice was saying how she wants to be us in 10 years, that's like an honor, and that, like their friendship is so special too. So I think, a lot of people see theirs, see ours, and I think that's why this works, right? We're just 10 years older than them. So it was really fun. It was really fun. Wish you were there, to be honest, but hopefully I represented us well. And
Aju, very good. Good job.
yeah. What other feedback do you have?
Oh, on the podcast? Let's see. I mean, it was just good. When I was listening to it, I was like, oh, 얘네 멋진 친구 많네, right? And then, it's just funny when I knew when you brought your notes, you were gonna like come with your talking points, your MBA talking points. So when you got into that, I was like, oh, there she goes. There she goes. Business get out. But that's good. Like, I think that's what like 멋있어 about you, that the way that you think, but then you also give these like very core takeaways. Like, what is it? Forming. I took it away. Forming, storming, norming, building. Did I get
Performing.
performing? Okay. You know what? I got it almost right. It's good. Also, like, I don't know if anybody cares, but I think your voice sounds really good on a podcast. Mine sounds so like nasally. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, do I sound like Eugene from Singles Inferno? Because that's horrible. I need to change that. You know how
유진이
she's like,
누구지?
이거. She kind of has that like. I'm like, oh, I gotta like keep the tone nice and deep, But I thought your voice sounded good. I know your what is it, perspective on parenting, all that. That's something I agree with, and we've talked about a lot. So it's good. You know what I love though? I love talking to young people.
Yeah, I agree. I
You know?
agree.
And that's one thing, like, as we are in our 40s and moms of a gazillion kids, I feel like moms don't get to talk to a lot of younger people. And I think I hear a couple different things. Sometimes it's like, oh, why would they want to talk to me? Or two, it's like, I wouldn't want to, they live such a different life. I mean, I guess it's all the same. But, you and I, we're all about like, I wish young people would invite me to things, you know? Or I invite young people to things.
Or I
So
just invite myself to young people things.
Just so refreshing, Yeah.
It is. I think it really depends though. I think people like our age, unless 코드가 잘 맞아 and the vibe is right, 뭐가 everybody's set in their way, so they're not
That's
gonna.
so true.
So that's why I think like UmmaNola doing the inspiring and encouraging, you can only be inspired and encouraged by somebody that thinks differently than you. But a lot of times we get like uncomfortable, or
Yeah.
you feel like, oh, is that person judging me because I'm not like that, or XYZ. But it's not that. It's just if you want to see, like, talk to people, see how they do life, and then be inspired, encouraged, and try it. If it doesn't work out for you, it's just at least you tried, and then you're like, it's not for me. But
Yeah.
for young people, I think they're just like blank canvas. So when you talk to them, it's like not only are you feeling young and vibrant and with it, but also like they're taking in a lot of stuff and potentially wisdom of how you live life and what's okay, what's not. So I think there's like a nice balance there. That's why it's 재밌어. I think that's why it's 재밌어. Yeah. Keeps us young.
Yeah. I haven't really met young people here in Texas.
Hmm?
Like all the people I've met here, they're all moms. So I haven't really met like young people, but I remember Bay Area. I loved hanging out with, talking with younger friends, you know?
Yeah.
But
No, let's go dating since we're talking about Singles Inferno and we kind of
oh,
touched on
dating?
it.
What do you want
Yeah,
to talk about
so
dating? I love that
I don't
topic.
know. Okay, let's go. So I definitely have a different date trajectory than you did, right? For somebody that loved going deep, I definitely did not have that with guys, right? And I do think I Kissed Dating Goodbye, those books definitely impacted
Ruined
my way of
us.
thinking.
Hmm.
But I 진짜 took it to heart. So, and then knowing my personality of 뭐 아니면 도, I knew that if I touched something that was not good for me or tried something that was like highly addictive, I would have had 10,000 babies, right? So like I really kept myself away from any skinship with guys,
Is
even
skinship a
conversing.
Korean word or an English word?
I feel like it's a Korean word.
Anyways, yeah.
Skinship. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Physical touch, uh-huh.
Physical touch. Okay, so back in the day, 20s, I was not that cute, right? So like no style, no makeup. I never did makeup even when I went out to dates. Never. And no sense of fashion or style, so I just had these express button-ups that I loved. I had it in every
I
single
see
color.
pictures. You were cute.
I mean, there was a cute side, but also I really 나는 there was like that conversation that happened even in Singles Inferno where it's like, do you go after the guy you like or do you go with guys that like you? And
Oh,
I'm definitely I have to like the guy.
of
And so
course.
짝사랑을 많이 했어. 너는 of course and yeah. 근데 나는 the guys that like me, I 진짜 couldn't do it. I would give it a chance, but I was just like it wouldn't last a week or two,
Mm.
like I just couldn't. But then the guys that I really liked, it would go for a long time. And 그게 짝사랑이야. So that's why I love those Korean 짝사랑
But
ballads.
did
Like
you ever 고백? Did you ever like
고백 다
tell
했어.
them?
근데 나를 안 좋아하는 거를 어떻게 하니?
I'm like,
그래서
I guess so. I get the vibe. I get
알겠어.
the vibe.
Uh-huh.
I get
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
point.
Uh-huh. So I never got deep. And once I was like in my late 20s, early 30s, I just moved to LA from New York. And I was like, I'm just going to explore. So I signed up
Late
for
20s. Late
eHarmony.
20s. Yeah.
Late 20s, 그치? Late 20s. I signed up for eHarmony. It just came out. I spent $300 to do a whole year subscription. And I
Big
was like,
money.
I'm going to find somebody. And lo and behold, I started dating all these guys. Again, no skinship, no anything because I was scared.
Yeah.
And
Dinners,
then all
conversations.
dinners. I had like five guys I was dating at the same time. But 난 또 지킬 것은 지켜. And so I told them, are you okay if I'm dating other people? They're like, yeah, yeah, sure. And so I started dating, and that's when David came first month in of my $300 subscription. And
He was a eHarmony. He was not an eHarmony
he's
guy
not
though.
an eHarmony. Yeah,
He
exactly.
just
So eHarmony 완전 꽝이었어.
you pay for it, and then David came kind of a different channel. Yeah,
그치. And
naturally. Uh
then,
huh.
yeah, then we got married in 10 months, right? So like, even before eHarmony expired, I got married.
Yeah, yeah. Like your 1 year subscription came up, resubscription reminder came up when you're already
Yeah.
married.
그치, 그치. And I was
Mm,
actually trying to transfer my subscription over to somebody else, but that was not possible. So that was really
mm,
unfortunate. 그냥 좀 돈이 아까웠어. But that's when it got, deep, and he was my one and only, basically.
yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of my dating path. And so, but even with David, like, or just people, like that's why like, I think the girl code is so important for me, friendship. So
Yeah.
I was actually trying to hook him up with some other girl, but when he was like, "Oh, hey, Gia, I like you," I actually had a conversation with the other girl. I was like, "If
Yeah.
you're not, but she was like, "Hey, go for it. He's a good guy."
Mm,
That's when you're
mm.
in, so those types of things that I really value a lot. That's why
Yeah.
it's a little different,
Word.
but word.
I agree. 잘했어. You know?
Yeah,
Mm.
and that's it. What about you? How's your dating?
I didn't start dating until like college. Really?
너같이 이렇게 이쁜 애는 왜 하이스쿨 데이트 안 하고 왜 컬리지부터 시작한 거야?
Well, thank you, first of all.
No, I would have, no, 진짜로, I would have assumed like from when I met you that you've dated
I think
from earlier
that
on?
first of all, my dad was extremely strict and scary. Second, I went to like a all white high school, and I didn't want to date them. It was like just they just felt very different than me. I came to the States when I was 12, and the only Korean guys I would know would be from church, and I was a new Christian, so it's just kind of everything was very new. So I wasn't really looking for that, but I had crushes. I had a crush on this one boy, but like everybody liked him, and it just fizzled out to nothing. But 나는 또 I'm very direct when I like somebody. So I remember even that kid, like at the end of high school, like we all graduated, we just know everyone's going to different areas in college. And by then and it wasn't like a deep crush. It was just like everybody knew I kind of had a crush on him all throughout like the years of youth group. So at the end, I just kind of told him like, hey, I kind of liked you, but hey, good luck on your life. Kind of see you later. 다시는 보지 말자. You know? And then I think it wasn't until sophomore year when I like actually had my first boyfriend. But even that, I'm just a little bit like, I think it's because I'm very not expressive in my real life. Like my family, we don't like hug or say I love you or things like that.
Oh,
We
your
try
immediate
to,
family.
yeah, we try to now, yeah, my parents and stuff. And it's not like I ever was boy crazy, but I think that once I entered that like, oh, I'm a sophomore in college, because everyone tells you in youth group like, don't date freshman year. So I'm like, okay, I'm not dating freshman year. But then sophomore year, it's like, okay, let's go. So then, I dated, but then I moved from UMich to Pratt, and then so I broke that off. And then there was another guy, and then which then showed me that okay, art school guys, no bueno. It's 진짜
안
chaotic,
맞아.
안 맞아. 정말 별로야. you know. And then after that, dated a couple others, but had my heart broken, trampled into pieces. Man, that first like real hard breakup, the one where it broke your heart, it's like
난 모르지.
your heart just hurts so much. It just hurts so
What do you
much.
mean?
Like you physically, if your heart hurts from the breakup. Like I felt really like 진짜 몸이, it just felt like it was just hurting. But
그래서
it felt
너도 막
stronger.
살 빠지고 막 그랬어?
So it's so funny because at the same time, like we were going through stuff in my family, and then the big breakup happened. And so my friend came all the way to my apartment in Brooklyn when all this was happening because I was like literally physically in pain. And then she came, she like packed her bags to come to stay with me a couple of days. And then she was like, have you been eating? And I was like, every damn meal. 난 정말 when I feel mentally weak, emotionally, I just eat more. So that's never. People get sick and they come back skinny. I get sick, I gain like 10 pounds because I've been inactive, but the consumption continues. So never a problem.
That's good. That's good.
Uh-huh. But I remember even like seeing that ex later, 6 months after the breakup, I had kind of like a face-to-face moment, and it was one of those you have to like my friends were like, you have to make sure you look casual, but you look accidentally hot. I was like, that's right. So like just like a raggedy shirt, but like full just, and then I just went and like I had to say all of my piece, like da 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 da, you never apologize, and then good. And I
Good
felt so much
closure.
better, and I
그렇지,
moved
그렇지.
on. But then it was a while, and then I was pretty jaded. I didn't want to. I didn't. I just wanted to date, but I didn't want to get married or anything like that because that one I went in too hard, and I like my heart was so broken. So fast forward like 3.5 years later, I met John, and we were both very like. I was very like I'm not trying to get married. I just want to date. I just want to feel the romantic feels. But then he really convinced me to consider marriage. I was like, what? Let's talk about the M word. I just want to date. But yeah, so I learned a lot from dating, and a lot of mistakes and, regrets, but also for me, all of that builds up to who I am today.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
people who know me, I'm a very open book. But yeah, I think my perspective on dating is if I see single people, I just say just date. You're thinking too much and be protective of your heart, be, protective of yourself, know where your boundaries are, but like date because the more it's like you were talking to five guys at the same time. I'm sure that helped you get that perspective of like, oh, 얘는 정말 아니다. Oh, 얘는 is a good conversation, right? So I feel like the more you date and you're more honest with yourself in that dating relationship, the more you learn about yourself and then improve, Because I remember when I first met John and he kind of asked me out and I was like, hey, I just want to say I'm like super jaded and I got a lot of baggage, a lot of trauma, but also I'm kind of weird and I'm like tired of acting not like me. So you're just going to get me. He's like, that's all I want. Just be you. I was like, okay. But so that's my dating. Whether I would let my kids date, oh, that's a whole other. Would you let your kids date?
I would let them date ideally in college because I think in high school you're just so impressionable and again have those hard conversations with them and not be shy about it. But I think in high school I would try to say no. In college, I would like for them that's their freedom. At 18, you're out of the household, that's you, and now you go and you figure out life, and I'm here to support.
Yeah.
But up until then, I would kind of try to resist as much as I can without breaking the bond that we do have. So
What
that
if
would
they're
be
like,
my
but oh
goal.
my, you don't understand. We love each other.
I know. I'd be like, yeah, I don't think I will understand because I don't know what that love looks like at that age. But I feel like the temptation is too strong and people like the kids are not as
They're
set
not
in who
adults.
they
Yeah.
are yet,
Yeah.
right? So I think that would be my biggest concern. And it's really time to, I think there's like a time to develop yourself and your
Yeah. And
identity. And I
friendships
think,
and
yeah, and I think that time is really crucial to figure out like who you are and really take time for yourself. And I think if we can do that earlier on and have honest conversations with the kids and stuff about who they are and maybe make it
yeah.
more about that than what they do,
Yeah.
뭐가 되지 않을까 싶어, right? So that's my hope. 너는?
Yeah. I mean, pretty similar. I think about this because I think that because my parents were so strict that even till now we still haven't had the birds and the bee conversation. For all they know, I'm a virgin. You know what I'm saying? 3 kids, immaculate conception, baby. But think about like myself as a more chill parent. Like I want to be a chill parent, but I do know that when I think about like them dating and just the things that kids could do behind my back, you know, secretively, I just think there's yeah, that's a little bit that worries me a little bit. But I'm trying to figure out how to balance talking to my kids about crushes or things like that and not make them feel like that's a bad thing. Have them feel comfortable coming to me to talk about it but also like I don't know how if one day I'm this chill parent trying to ask about crushes and then the next day, well, can I get a girlfriend? And be like, so I haven't gotten to that, but anyways, a lot of the people I've met, they tell me how their kids talk to them about their crushes. The people like some kids have girlfriends, boyfriends, or they break up with it. I'm like, really? Like they tell you all of that? Because I consider myself pretty chill and I have a lot of conversations with my kids. But whenever I ask them, no, nothing. I'm like, 재미없어. But maybe that's better for right now. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm with you in that some things I feel like it's safer to delay it. There's no rush, you
No
know?
rush. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just want them to be able to know how to talk to people.
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, girl, I think because I only grew up with a sister, I I wasn't very good at like making guy friends. It was I don't know, I was awkward talking to guy friends. But I don't know.
Yo, I do want to talk one thing. Yeah, Miss Korea.
Oh,
I want to
what
hear
about?
all about it. No, I think a lot of people don't know this side of you, and I think it's one of the most interesting like
갑자기
sides to
pivot.
you.
It's not that
Uh-huh.
interesting.
It's very interesting. Like what was that all like in terms of how you got there? What was it when you were there?
갑자기 I'm
And
like, do I look like Miss Korea-esque? 약간 좀 너무 do I look ugly? Do I look worthy of the crown? Um, I mean, growing up, especially I grew up in Korea, and my dad is very tall. And so they just knew that I would be tall. And a lot of people were like, oh, Korean people say this, like, oh, 너 나중에 자라 미스 코리아 가라, 미스 코리아. Like, everybody kind of just says that. Well, yeah, you hear it. Nobody's like really taking it seriously. And then we, came to the States and we lived in Jersey, and there's this area called Palisades Park, Broad Avenue, and they have a 한국일보, like a Korean newspaper that they're the ones that organized the Miss Korea. So they had a poster there for like trying out for Miss Korea New York, and it was in like 2 weeks or something. So my mom was like, "너 이거 할래?" She's basically like 놀고 자빠지지 말고 이거나 해봐, right? And I had
oh,
nothing. I was like kind of in chill mode, senioritis. I was like, okay, and then I went. But honestly, high school, like I was not that cute. Kind of like awkward and not like. I was like, 18. You're still a little 통통해. Your body has not, kind of. But whatever. We went to the mall, got a dress, and we went to the rehearsal. And turns out everybody came backed up by some hair salon,
oh
and they've been
wow.
training for like months, like if not a
그렇지.
year. And
그렇지.
I
That
showed
makes
up. I
sense.
went to my mom's like 동네 미장원, and my mom's like, "아 오늘 좀 중요한 일이 있어서요." And like we just like did some hair updo, and then like just dress that I bought from like Macy's or whatever, and then went and then I got second place and Miss Photogenic. And so then we we went to Korea, and I had the blue 수영복, and we're full Miss Korea mode. Miss New York-san. Oh my God, do you wanna know my speech?
Yeah, do it. 지금 할 수 있어? Cue, go.
당연하지.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. By the way, listeners, do not go Googling me, okay? I've already tried, and I am not Googleable. Don't even try, okay? I am the biggest stalker, and I couldn't even find myself. So don't even try this, okay? 안녕하세요. Okay. 안녕하세요. 참가번호 11번 미스 뉴욕산 오지민입니다. 세계 여러 나라를 다니면서 배운 세련된 매너와 능숙한 상계국어로 2001 I'm not gonna tell you what year. 2000년에 알맞는 미스 코리아가 되겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Wow.
Well, I'm so 짜증나 that I just did this. So 짜증나.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I missed all of my AP exams to go to Korea for a month. By then, I
Oh,
truly was
wow.
just like, I don't know why my mom let me. She was like, sure. I was like, yeah, sure. I told my principal, yeah, I'm gonna go. Okay. In hindsight, I'm like, huh, that's 미쳤어. Went to Korea. We all like lived in the same place for 3+ weeks, and then the fourth week is actual competition. And yeah, it was fun. Oh, yeah. So I was 8. I was the youngest. Okay, I was the youngest contestant, and everybody else, they're like 20-year-olds. Like they're all beautiful, and they all have boyfriends, and a lot of them, like the boyfriends would come and like sneak in, and they would like
Oh, wow.
go sneak
Badunk a
out.
dunk? Oh, oh.
Whatever they was doing, it was not allowed. Okay. And then they'll come back. So they're like, they're adult unnies. They're like hot, cute unnies. And then it was swimsuit photo day. And then like bunch of unnies all got their periods. Because, we all rooming together. So everybody got on the same cycle.
Pheromones.
And like, 어떡해, 나 생리하는데, 나 수영복 입어야 되는데, 따라라. They don't want to wear this gigantic pad. And so I like had a whole thing of like, tampons. I was like, 그냥 이거 써. And they looked at me like I was some hoe. I was like, they were like, 그런 걸 네가 어떻게 알아? I was like, you act like you haven't. So I was like, huh? I was like, 이거 안 써? They're like, 우리 그런 거 한 번도 안 써봤어. I'm like, yo, you act like you some. So then I literally had to line them all up and do like a demo, but not like for real demo, but like 여기 템판이야. 이렇게 앉아. And then you stick it in, and then you stand up, and if you feel it, go back in the bathroom. Try it again. You have to stick it back, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I successfully taught like a whole row of unnies how to wear tampons so that they would have a successful swimsuit competition.
Something's never changed because now you've lined up all of UmmaNola community
I'm just
teaching them how to
passionate.
use the flex.
Maybe I'm like just passionate about vagina health.
No, but I would
Very
say
important.
like I never used tampon until like I met basically you, and
For
we
real?
were yeah. I think even though I had kids, even though I had sex, it's really weird to put some foreign object in there. And I don't know if it's because of lack of education when we were growing up,
Yeah.
but I never used it until like recently, only when I went swimming if I had to. But then flex is like a game changer. Let's be real. So now I'm more comfortable sticking my finger up there and trying to find that, taking out, and all that other good stuff.
Wait,
But
I have
it's
a
like,
question.
yeah,
Is it that it's weird to like put that foreign object inside, or is it that there's like shame in understanding your anatomy, or is it that you just have no idea what's happening down there?
no idea
Like,
what's happening down there. Also, like, it's scary because you've never tried it. What if it gets stuck? Like, maybe that's the embarrassing part, like having to go to the hospital to try to figure this out.
I
But
see, I
yeah,
see.
so there's the element of that, of like,
That's something that we've talked about this, how vagina health is not in one of my top 5 of passions, but I would say that I am more passionate than other people about it, or
right,
sex health, right? And I do think it's because like we grew up in an environment where it was very repressed. It was culture of shame. And like we're Christians, so there's also that where it's like something you're not supposed to know about, but then all of a sudden you get married and you're like supposed to know it all. And I just think because of that there's a very wide range of like lack of knowledge to very being comfortable, and it's like good as friends in trustworthy communities to talk about these things. And it's not to like kiss and tell, it's just to kind of check on each other and help each other and all of that.
inspire and encourage each other.
That's right. Okay. So should we do another episode, a deep dive on let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about, yeah? Maybe we should do like list of questions for people to anonymously send in,
I think
and
so.
then we'll just go down the list.
Not that we're like sex experts, but I think
I
there's
have
like
no
a
expertise, girl. Yeah. Ask your friend. It's Ask Your Friend forum. Anyways, so I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. Basically, the topic was dating
yeah.
and plus. But yeah, I hope if you guys are interested in a sex talk, let's go. But you guys send us the questions. Like, don't make us do the hard work. you know? Any last comments, Jia?
No.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Thank you for listening. Bye.